Hello friends, in this session we will discuss about immunity. In the previous session we saw about infection, what is infection, what are various types of infections, what is carrier, what are the sources of infection, what are the modes of infection. And now in this session we will see how the body responds to infection. What is immunity? Immunity in Latin it means immunis, which is free of burden. Immunity refers to the resistance exhibited by the host towards injury caused by any microorganism. Any organism which tries to harm the host tries to resist the organism, and this resistance offered by the host against the harming organism is known as immunity. Immunity has been divided into two varieties: innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity is the immunity that a human being possesses by virtue of his constitution, by a genetic makeup. So that is a fixed variety of immunity that a person has throughout life by the virtue of his constitutional makeup. And the other immunity is acquired immunity. Acquired immunity a person acquires during the lifetime as a result of exposure to various microbes. Innate immunity has been again divided into two types: non-specific and specific. In non-specific and specific both varieties, we can understand the innate immunity at three different levels: at the level of species, at the level of race, and at the level of individual. And in acquired immunity, it is again divided into two types: active and passive. And both active and passive acquired immunities, they have two varieties each: natural and artificial. This discrimination between self and non-self is the main foundation for the immune system. The immune system identifies our own tissues, our RBCs, WBCs, and different body cells and different receptors of our body as self, and does not mount an immune response against our own self antigens. While anything coming from outside is new to the immune system, an immune system identifies it as a foreign structure and tries to mount an immune response against it. The innate or natural immune system is by birth, that a person acquires by constitutional makeup, and the acquired or adaptive immune system is which a person acquires during lifetime as a result of exposure to various antigens. Definition of innate immunity: resistance to the infections which an individual possesses by virtue of his genetic and constitutional makeup. Innate immunity is the first line of defense, and repeated exposure to pathogen does not increase the innate immunity, because that is a fixed property which an individual possesses throughout life. Irrespective of whatever the person is getting exposed to, this component, that is the innate immunity, will remain as it is throughout life. Non-specific and specific immunity: the non-specific is resistance offered to infections in general, and specific is resistance offered to a particular pathogen. You can understand these two immunities at three levels: the species, race, and individual level. Species immunity: example, like Algerian sheep, they are resistant to anthrax. The entire species is resistant to anthrax, and that disease does not occur in that species. This is an example of species level immunity. Mice are extremely susceptible to pneumococcus. Rats are highly resistant to diphtheria. Humans are not susceptible to plant pathogens. These are various examples of immunity at the level of species. Some particular species has a particular susceptibility or a particular resistance towards certain microbes. Then at the level of race, certain races, they are more susceptible to some diseases, and some races are resistant to some diseases. Like in Africa, there is genetic resistance to Plasmodium falciparum malaria because of some G6PD deficiency problem. And in sickle cell anemia also, they are immune to malaria because of the sickling of RBCs, which does not allow the malarial parasite to multiply in them. So in some particular races, they can be resistant to some particular pathogens, or they can be more susceptible to some pathogens. So this is called racial immunity. Then comes individual immunity. Every individual has a tendency towards some infections and resistance to against some infections. Like a person may have tendency towards respiratory tract infection. That person has repeated respiratory tract infections. Some person may have tendency towards GI tract infections. Some person may have a sensitive skin. and have dermatological problems. So every individual has a unique immunological makeup, and that immunological makeup is known as the individual immunity. Factors influencing the level of immunity. Age is an important factor which affects the level of immunity. While the child is not born, it is in utero. At that time, the child is protected by the maternal IgG which cross the placenta, but the child has not yet developed its own immune system, and congenital malformations can take place at that stage, and fetal death can also occur because of certain infections, but the placenta gives protection because of the immunoglobulin G. In the newborns, immune system is not yet fully developed, and in the elderly, the immune system is waning. So these two extremes of age are more susceptible to infection because the immune system is not in a fully functional state. In the newborns, it is being developed, and in the old elderly, it is waning. Hormonal influence in sex. Endocrine disorders like diabetes mellitus, hypothyroidism, pregnancy, all these will influence the level of immune system in the person. They increased steroid levels in pregnancy will again lead to increased susceptibility to various infections in pregnant ladies. Sex mate, there is no marked difference between male and female, although there are some variations seen in some diseases in which males are more predisposed and some females are more predisposed. Nutrition. Protein calorie malnutrition decreases the neutrophil complement and interferon activities. You can see that nutritional deficiencies will increase the risk of infection significantly because the immune system cells, the T cells, B cells, macrophages and all, they do not function properly with lack of nutrition. Immune boosters should be used for good health. Fruit juices, good healthy foods, they will boost the immune system. The functioning of the cells and chemicals of the immune system is enhanced by a good, healthy, balanced diet. Stress is an important factor which decreases the immunity. Increased stress leads to increased susceptibility to infections because under these conditions, these various cells of the immune system and various chemicals, the cytokines, all these are not able to perform optimally, and their functions are compromised under conditions of stress. So to have a good immune system, one needs to be free from stress. What is the mechanism of innate immunity? There are various mechanisms of innate immunity present in the human body. One is skin. The skin is a natural protection against infections. The skin has these epithelial layers. The skin has various factors which prevent infecting microbes to lodge on the skin, and various defense mechanisms are there. In the mucous membrane also, general protective measures and specific protective measures are there. In the mouth or oral cavity, in the GI tract, in the upper respiratory tract, in the GU tract, and in the conjunctiva. See, in this figure you can see that in the skin and different parts of the body. See, in tears, lysozyme are there, and in phagocytes. And then antimicrobial activity in saliva is there. The normal flora, they are present in the mucous membrane. They will prevent the foreign bacteria from lodging. Mucus and cilia, they throw out the microbes outside the respiratory tract. स्किन में फिजिकल बैरियर है, फैटी एसिड है, फैट है, नॉर्मल फ्लोरा है. दिस ऑल फैक्टर्स विल प्रिवेंट foreign organisms to lodge. Rapid pH change from stomach to the upper intestine. Some microbes, they will get destroyed because of the acidity of the stomach. Low pH acid in the stomach will also destroy several bacteria. Then the normal flora in the intestine, they will prevent any foreign bacteria from lodging. Flushing action of the urine, they will also throw out microbes if they enter the urinary tract. Then the pH and normal flora of vagina, they are also not favorable for the pathogens. So these are various natural defense mechanisms present in the human body. They are present by virtue of constitution, by virtue of by birth, and they do not change with exposure to external agents. They do not change with age. They will remain constant. That is the innate immunity. स्किन में मैकेनिकल बैरियर है, फैटी एसिड्स है, प्रोड्यूस बाय सेबेशियस ग्लैंड्स. प्रोपियोनिक एसिड है जो नॉर्मल फ्लोरा प्रोड्यूस करते हैं. These are all defense mechanisms. Antimicrobial response is there, inflammatory response is there, and influence adaptive immune response also. Mucous membrane में mucus traps the bacteria, mucus lubricates the cells, mucus contains antibacterial substances, there are tight intercellular junctions, rapid cellular shedding is there, and mucus associated lymphoid tissue is there. Because of tight intercellular junctions, microbes are not able to enter the mucous membranes. स्पेसिफिक प्रोटेक्टिव मेजर्स में माउथ और ओरल कैविटी में सलाइवा है, वो सलाइवा विच वॉशेस अवे द माइक्रोब्स. Lysozymes are there that destroy bacterial cell walls. Then antibodies are there. In the stomach, low pH is there, and proteolytic enzymes are there. They will destroy the microbes. In small intestine, bile salt disrupt bacterial membranes. Fast flow of intestinal contents in the intestine, that will also prevent the bacteria from lodging. Ileum में rich and varied flora are there which prevent colonization by pathogens. The upper respiratory tract में architecture of the nose ऐसा है कि it is not a सीधा साधा रास्ता, टेढ़ा मेढ़ा रास्ता है. स्टिकी mucus है, ciliary motion है, उसमें cilia है, of cough reflex है, mucopolysaccharides है. Cough reflex will also throw out the bacteria. Ciliary motion will gradually move them, push them towards the exterior. The genitourinary tract, normal flow of urine flushes out bacteria. Spermine and zinc are there in semen, which are also antibacterial. Then acidity of adult vagina is also not favorable for microbes. कंजक्टिवा में लैक्रिमल फ्लूइड है, लाइजोजाइम्स है. ब्लड और टिश्यूज़ में कॉम्प्लीमेंट सिस्टम है, बीटा लाइसिन्स हैं, सम proteins like leucines and plakins which are antibacterial. Acidic substances like lactic acid, lactobacillus is there in milk. Microbial antagonism is provided by our commensals. Wherever our commensals are there in the body, they have established on those surfaces and there is no space left. So they do not allow any foreign bacteria to lodge on these surfaces. So they act as a competition for the microbes, for the pathogens. So this antagonism provided by our commensals, it also protects us. Cellular factors like phagocytic cells and natural killer cells are also there. Inflammation, there is a process of inflammation that occurs which tries to ward off the pathogens. Fever is also a defense mechanism. It will also help to destroy the pathogens. Acute phase proteins are there, toll-like receptors are there. So these are various mechanisms of innate immunity which are present by birth, by constitution in a person. The next question is acquired immunity. Acquired immunity, the resistance that an individual acquires during life as a result of exposure to various antigens. Acquired immunity can be divided into active and passive. Both active and passive are again divided into natural and artificial. So active natural, active artificial, passive natural and passive artificial. एक्टिव इम्यूनिटी में नेचुरल और आर्टिफिशियल दो है, पैसिव में भी नेचुरल और आर्टिफिशियल दो है. चारों के एग्जांपल, नेचुरल एक्टिव इम्यूनिटी में कोई भी पर्सन एक्वायर करे इन्फेक्शन तो वो इन्फेक्शन के रिस्पॉन्स में इम्यून सिस्टम एक्टिवेट होगा. इम्यून सिस्टम में जो इम्यून सिस्टम के सेल्स एक्टिवेट होंगे, दे विल लीड टू फॉर्मेशन ऑफ एंटीबॉडीज़. And this kind of immunity that a person acquires as a result of a natural infection is called natural active immunity. Then similar to this condition, you can create artificially also, like by giving a vaccine. In a vaccine, the antigens will be given to the host. These antigens will not be able to cause disease because they are incapacitated, but they will stimulate the immune system similar to that caused by a live microbe. And the immune system gets activated and the person develops immunity against that microbe, but this is done artificially in the form of a vaccine, so it is called artificial active immunity. So for active immunity, two types: natural active and artificial active. Natural active is any infection that occurs in day-to-day life, that is called natural active, and vaccination is called artificial active immunity. Then passive immunity में natural passive immunity, mother to child transmission. From the mother, IgG are transferred to the placenta to the child, and the child gets immunity because of that. This is called natural passive immunity. In this immunity, the child's immune system is not participating, it is not getting activated, but the child is getting ready-made antibodies via the placenta, and so it is called natural passive immunity. In passive immunity, the immune system does not participate. In active immunity, the immune system is participating, while in passive immunity, the immune system is not participating. So natural passive is mother to child transmission, and artificial passive is what? In artificial passive, antibodies can be synthesized in the laboratory. They can be procured from experimental animals or human volunteers, and these antibodies procured and purified and concentrated, they can be given as therapy for some disease conditions, and thus giving these ready-made antibodies as a therapy is called artificial passive immunity. In example, monoclonal antibodies are used for treatment of certain conditions. That is an example of artificial passive immunity. Now all these four immunities that we saw in this figure, we'll just have a look at one or two points pertaining to each of them. Natural active immunity acquired because of any infection. It can be clinical, it can be subclinical. The infection can lead to immunity which is short term or long term. Like in common cold, a person acquires short term immunity because common cold, every some months a person can again acquire common cold. Why it happens so? Because the antigenic variations occur and newer types of microbe enters, newer types of antigenic varieties enter, and person has developed immunity against the previous type, but now the next time a new variety comes up, and because of that person also only gets a short-term immunity in common cold. Then lifelong immunity is acquired in several conditions like in measles. Then there is one kind of immunity known as premonition immunity. It occurs in some conditions like malaria and syphilis. In premonition immunity, person is immune to a particular disease only as long as person is suffering from that disease in active state. Once the person gets cured of the disease, the person again becomes susceptible to that infection. Say for example in malaria, as long as the person is suffering from malaria, person will not acquire malaria again during the current infection. The person is immune to malaria as long as the patient is suffering from malaria. But as soon as the person recovers from malaria, he again becomes susceptible to the condition. That is called premonition immunity. Artificial active immunity is vaccines. There are live vaccines, there are killed vaccines, there are subunit vaccines, DNA vaccines, recombinant vaccine, different kinds of vaccines are there. And the vaccine introduces the antigen into the human host, and that antigen will stimulate the immune system. Person will develop immunity against that condition, and since this occurs by artificial means, it is called artificial active immunity. Passive immunity में mother to child transmission. Artificial passive में ready-made antibodies obtained from experimental animals were used earlier. Now from human volunteers also they are used. Tetanus immune globulin, anti-gas gangrene serum, these are examples of passive immunity, passive artificial immunity. Ready-made antibodies are given to the patient, and those ready-made antibodies, they will protect the patient against the disease condition. Now when this kind of immunity is given, there are some disease conditions like tetanus, gas gangrene, diphtheria, which are very deadly and very fast the patient can progress to death. So in these conditions, we cannot wait for the immune system to get activated and fight against the pathogen. The immune system will take 5 to 7 days to develop and fight against the pathogen, but in 5 to 7 days it is possible that the patient might die. So in such cases, for the initial 5 to 7 days when the immune system is not yet fully functional, ready-made antibodies are given to the patient, and these ready-made antibodies, they will protect the person for these several days. And once the immune system of the patient develops antibodies, then that will also start fighting, but you need to save the patient's life, and so immediately passive immunity is given to save the life of the patient. There are some differences between active immunity and passive immunity. That active immunity is acquired on exposure to antigen. It is durable, effective, and it has a latent period, while passive immunity is temporary. It is obtained by ready-made antibodies, and it is less effective, and it provides immediate immunity. In active immunity, it takes some time to give protection, while in passive immunity, immediately person gets protection. Then active immunity booster effect will help increase the response. There is the negative phase, there is immunological memory, and in immunodeficient people you cannot use this concept. While in passive immunity there is no negative phase, there is no memory formation, and it is applicable in the immunodeficient host. What is negative phase? Negative phase means when a person has acquired immunity and antibodies have developed against a particular pathogen, then subsequently again the same pathogen enters the body, then the pre-existing antibodies are there, they will bind with this second time coming bacteria, and because of this binding the level of antibodies in the blood will drop for a short time. This drop in the level of antibodies is called negative phase, and after some time the immune system will have activated and antibodies will be formed, and so then the immune response will increase, but for a short period of time because of binding of the existing antibodies with the bacteria, there is a dip in the immune system, and that is called negative phase. Then what is immunological memory? Immunological memory means remembering the pathogen. So some cells of the T cell and B cell lineage, they will convert to memory cells, and they will keep this memory in mind that this pathogen has come in the body earlier. So with this memory, whenever the pathogen comes in again, then the response against the pathogen is more fast and it is more severe. And every subsequent time that the pathogen enters the body, the response will become faster and more severe, and that is because of the memory that they contain, the B cells and T cell memory cells. And this immunological memory concept, it helps us in protection against the infection in subsequent stages. Then there is something called combined immunization, in which active and passive both immunity are given. There are certain disease conditions like diphtheria in which you have to give both. Passive immunity will give protection initially for some time, and the active immunity will give protection for long time. So this kind of protection is called combined immunization. Then there is something called adaptive immunity. Adaptive immunity means injection of immunologically competent lymphocytes in the host. Instead of all lymphocytes, whole lymphocytes, an extract of immunologically competent lymphocytes is taken out, and that extract is known as transfer factor. And when this transfer factor is given to enhance the immunity, it is called adaptive immunity. It is not generally used. Then there is something called local immunity. Local immunity is like respiratory tract has its own immunity, GI tract has its own immunity, GU tract has its own immunity. These are various local immunities present in the human body. Herd immunity is immunity present in the population in general. So like overall level of immunity of the community is good against a pathogen, then that pathogen will lead to less number of epidemics or disease conditions in the population. But overall immunity of the population is less, then that pathogen will lead to more problems. And overall immunity is good, then the pathogen will lead to less problems. This kind of immunity present in the community, the majority of the population of the community has acquired immunity, then we call it herd immunity is good, right? It has a relevance in control of epidemic diseases. That completes our immunity. Thank you.